Now, if you want to know what can be done with a set, you can go here. This is the documentation. All right, so you can see lots of examples and lots of explanation. So you see here is disjoint, is subset, all the function, all the operations that apply on the set are available here as functions. Okay. Also, it is issuable. Okay, even though it's not indexed, they cannot access it with an index. Now you see the index is the order of the location, and there is no meaning over order in the set, so we cannot use an index. We cannot loop over it with a while loop, for example, and an index. You will only can iterate over it using the for loop, because the for loop doesn't have an index. I mean, you don't define an index. Doesn't access it with an index. All right. Okay. Now, why is it mutable? Because we can build it up programmatically. Okay. So we can build it up using a loop. We can build it up using a comprehension. Remember the comprehension we talked about yesterday? Okay. So this is pretty much like the comprehension of the list, but instead of using square brackets, I use curly brackets to say I am building a set, not a list. So to begin with, we surround our expression with the curly brackets. All right. Now, again, we can put a condition, any condition we want to select. So let's say we are trying to read the visible character only. So the invisible characters are the characters that you don't see, like a space and enter. Okay. So if I want to eliminate invisible characters, I can put the condition here. It can be done with a loop as well. So let's try it out and start with a loop and then turn it into a comprehension. So that's another exercise for the comprehension syntax. Okay. So I am going to start set 8 and go for set. All right, so let's say we have a string here. So we have text, some kind of text. So let's say this is a statement. It could be something that you read from a file, or you receive from a network or something. Okay, somehow you found the text. Okay, now we want to know what are the visible characters in that text. And we don't want to repeat them. You see how many S's are there? 1, 2, 3. We just want to know if there is an S or not. Okay, so we don't want to be repetition. So a set would be a good candidate for this situation. So let's start with a for loop. So for car in text. So I'm looping over the text. Now I'm trying to accumulate something, right? And yesterday we talked about this. When we try to accumulate something in a loop, we have to start with what? Some sort of initialization variable, initialize a variable to use for the accumulation, right? And now we are trying to build a set. So the variable should be something of type set. So I'm going to call it invisible. Invisible cars. Now that should be something of type set. And it should be empty initially, right? Now I cannot do this. When we wanted to create an empty list, we did this, right? Square brackets. Now the brackets that we use for the set are the curly brackets. Can we use it? No, we can't, because it has a different meaning. Okay, So curly brackets, if you want to create an empty curly bracket, it means it's a dictionary. It's an empty dictionary. It's not an empty set. Okay, so if I want to create a set, I just use the constructor of the set. Okay, so now we have an empty set we can use to accumulate. So I need to check whether the character is equal to space. So now there are two ways I can say if it's equal, then continue. If it's not or if it's not equal, then add. Okay, so it might be easier if I just check whether it's not equal. Okay, so if character not equal as space, then we need to add it to the set. So visible characters dot add and car. Okay, now let me print it. And see, I'm going to clear this. All right, now see, it's not even the order they appeared, not, no, I mean, no order, okay? So now we have E, we have N, only one occurrence of each. Yes, okay? Now, there is a shorter way to do that. We're using the comprehension.